band. Let's double it up now. Hey, band. Yeah. So we're gonna give it to the horns now. Come on, horn. Bumping on up.
Shops at Iverson is now undergoing a transformation, creating a mixed-use center where the community can come together to eat, shop, relax, and feel connected. The Shops at Iverson is a 600 KSF mixed-use property consisting of retail and office space now available. Located inside the Beltway on Branch Avenue, Maryland, just minutes from downtown D.C. It's an exciting time at the Shops at Iverson. Several beautiful renovation projects are ongoing, transforming the Shops at Iverson into the new safe community hub. DMV, get ready to enjoy the new food court, opening late spring, early summer, featuring new restaurants like Chipotle, Quickway Hibachi, Tropical Smoothie, Wingstop, and free Wi-Fi. The Shops at Iverson, the original home of the world-famous Snickerdoodle cookies, is completing several cosmetic improvements to the mall interior, facade, and parking garage. The Shops at Iverson is the new home of GoWin Media, comprised of the DMV's premier internet radio stations, GoGo Radio Live and Win DC Radio. For updates and more details, check out shopiverson.com. That's shopiverson.com.
Hey man, it's your main man, DJ Batman, coming to you live from GoGo Radio Live. Right here, each and every Friday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tune in and turn up for my rush hour party. Let's get the weekend started together. Y'all ready to party? Y'all know how I get down, man. It's the one and only DJ Batman. You know what I'm saying? It's showtime.
Looking for a new look? Check out Hair Academy 2 in the Shops at Iverson, Hillcrest Heights, Maryland. You'll get quality services done by developing stylists and barbers, senior discounts offered weekly, and free barbershop services available when you present a flyer. Chemical treatments are also available. Call 301-899-9100 for hours of operation. Hair Academy 2 in the Shops at Iverson, 3705 Branch Avenue, Suite 1010, lower level, Hillcrest Heights. A new look is waiting for you at Hair Academy 2.
Hey, y'all, this is your girl, Shemaine. Make sure you tune into Win DC Radio Sunday through Saturday for the best in indie artist music and all the hottest new music. Win DC Radio, the platform for independent artists.
Are you short on money? Is your computer acting up? Call my main man, Tony Ray. For $50, PC repairs include troubleshoot one computer using all the proper tools. Remove all viruses, spyware, malware, and rootkits on the computer. Repair any operating system issues, including boot issues, blue screens, etc. Apply system tweaks and modifications. Test operating system for proper functionality. Provide you with an estimate cost for hardware repairs or upgrades needed to provide a complete working PC. Call today. Tony Ray, 202-681-0326. Mobile services also available. He will come pick up your computer and drop it off. Most jobs are done within 24 to 48 hours. One more time. Call Tony Ray, 202-681-0326.
Follow GoGo Radio Live on all your social media outlets at GoGo Radio Live.
Have you ever tried to recreate that live go-go sound in the studio? It's kind of hard to get that go-go swing and raw crank drive without a real drummer, right? Well, we have the solution for you at GoGoLoops.com. If you're a music producer and you're looking to produce authentic sounding go-go tracks, GoGo Loops is what you need. We offer a variety of drum kits and beat loop packs that can give you a solid foundation for your funky go-go style beats. High quality live and studio recorded pocket and socket beat loops, bounce beat loops, and guitar and bass samples will get your track sounding like the real deal. Our drum kits include a variety of real drum kicks, snares, congas, cowbells, jam blocks, timbales, rototons, crashes, and even more. We also have individual drum beat loops and Congo beat loops that can be used as play-along tracks for learning and practice purposes. These are the most exclusive drum samples on the planet. Since go-go is an art form born and bred in the DMV, there aren't any other places you can find this unique sound. We have affordable pricing and different types of products that can fit in anyone's budget. Sign up to the GoGo Loop at gogoloop.com and get free samples and discount codes. If you want your music to stand out in the crowd, you need samples from gogoloop.com. Our music, our culture, our way. Visit gogoloop.com today and always keep it cranking.
All right, welcome back to the GoWin Radio Show right here on GoGo Radio Live. Win DC Radio all wrapped up in GoWin.media, coming to you live from the shops at Iverson. And we're here with our esteemed guests today, Malachai Johns, Mr. Darrin X, and Chris Allen. And we are here to talk about what some of you feel like. When I say some of you, some of you that's in the industry, speaking of GoGo, actually feel like it's healthy right now. Some of them are cool with the state of it for whatever their personal reasons are, and we're not here to debate that at all. But this is more of a discussion about the furtherment and the growth. So let me pose to each one of you gentlemen, and I'm gonna start with I'm gonna go the furthest away from me. No, you know what? We're gonna do it right. We're gonna do ladies first. Miss Lady.
Yes.
You are the lady. So we're gonna talk about this first. And I'm going for the fences off the break. Real talk. I'm going for the fences.
Let's do it.
What is the suggestion, the solution, potential solution for the pipeline of GoGo? When we was coming up, even yourself, you know, the kids was playing the music, they was involved in the music, some shape, form, or fashion. You know, the older brother was. Now it's babies having babies, so it might be just their mamas, you know. So, but what is the way for us to move forward and say, we know we got another 20 to 30, 50 years of this music growing in some shape, form, or fashion? Because at this time and point, there's nobody that I'm aware of that's in their teens that's performing GoGo to a level. And please hit the page up. We're live on the Win DC Radio live page. We're also on the GoGo Radio live page. We're also on YouTube. You know, and I'm sure somebody else is doing something up around here. But we're all over the net. And of course, you can download the app. If you tune in on your desktop, www.gogoradio.live.
I remember the question, and he goes into all this stuff.
Yeah. We want to make sure everybody knows.
Yes.
So yeah. So, Miss Lady.
What's the question, man? You know, when it's all these outlets.
What is your suggestion? What is your suggestion for the pipeline of GoGo moving forward?
I mean, music in general, they've taken it out of the schools, and I've always said this. They've taken music out of the schools. I'm the parent liaison and peer mediator for Friendly High School in PG County, right? So, like, I believe that if the kids have other ways to express themselves, they won't act out. They don't have any outlets. They already wear uniforms, so they're already, you know, looking alike. They don't have any other ways to express themselves other than there's no chorus. You can't even sing. There's no choir. The only thing of music is the band. And if you don't know how to, you know, read music, you can't really play the music in the schools. You rarely see people, teenagers coming into high school not knowing how to already play an instrument, that haven't been taking music for about, you know, since the 3rd grade, 4th grade, whenever they implement it. But if you come into high school and you don't know how to play an instrument, the likelihood of you learning is slim to none as far as in the school system. It didn't used to be like that. So I think them taking music out of the schools was detrimental to the culture in itself.
That's been identified, but we're here to discuss what are your thoughts as far as moving forward. How can we since you identifying that point, how can we correct that?
I put music back in the schools. Because you're trying to gravitate towards the youth. Because obviously we're not in school, we're not the youth anymore. I mean, you only as old as you feel, and I feel good. I feel about 17. Yeah, I feel about 17 today. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that music needs to be implemented, even if it's an after-school program. Like the gentleman we had, Dennis Rado, he had a awesome plan you put into the schools, afternoons, weekends, or whatever the case may be. We need to gravitate towards the youth, because when they have their extracurricular activities, or when they have their proms, and they used to get go-go bands. We used to be like, oh, we gonna get this, we gonna get this band, we gonna get this band. Now it's like, can we get Shy Glizzy? Can we, I mean, no shade, you know what I'm saying, because he's from the area too, but you have people that they're just into rap. So the culture, of go-go music, I think it's going to have to start without putting it back into our youth. I mean, I make my daughter listen to it. I make my kids listen to it because that's all I play. Right. That's all I play in school. I mean, they like it because I kind of like force feed it to them. Right. But if we were in an outside event and their dad and myself are performing at an event, they could care less. They could care less, and it's hurtful that the youth really don't understand. And I guess it's up to us as the older. I mean, y'all a lot older than me, but to make sure. I mean, start at home, and put it into your kids or the people that surround you. That's the only thing I could say as far as, and the big bands reaching down to the little bands, what they call little bands, and just, offering a hand up, offering a little bit of advice.
Offering it like how, though?
I mean, just words. For instance, I heard a story. The keyboard player from Vibe, Chris, he went to see New Impressions. He had never been to see New Impressions. He went down Martini's to see New Impressions, and he actually went on the stage, stood beside the keyboard player, and just watched. The keyboard player in return that played for New Impressions sent him a message to say, man, I appreciate that. Thank you. They had a conversation. Right. It wasn't like, well, who is this person? And, he doesn't know me. They had a conversation, and it meant so much to him that he didn't think he was approachable, but in the long run, Chris was looking out for, looking at him like, young and sharp, and he's looking at Chris like, man, I look up to you, and Chris had no idea because he didn't start on the go-go scene. Right. He's gospel, so he's like, oh my goodness.
I think you just touched on something right there, though. I think that at least the gentleman to my right and his right can probably identify with it. Like when we was coming up. That wasn't even an issue. Nobody would even look at it like that, because the youngest was already there. They was already attached to the hip.
Right.
So now with you making the point that we got to put music in the schools, let's think like business people. It was taken out of schools for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Budget.
All right, exactly. So now we got to identify how we're going to derive the funds to make it sensible to those who are in charge, because obviously they don't feel like there's a need for it at this time and place. They are furthering their agenda as is. So it's, as teachers, students, and especially parents, we have to put the move on them, saying, look, we need this in there. If you want our support, we need this in there. So it's got to be ways about that. Let me pose that question to Darrin, because you involved in several different ways of that matter. How do we approach that stumbling block right there? Because obviously they took the music out the schools. Where do we move forward?
Well, I sitting here talking to Chris, and he wrote. He's been working at this for a while. Yeah. Like this is his life work. Like he has something already that's ready to go. It's just that we don't have a way of getting at the table.
Yeah, I wrote a curriculum for.
Yeah, he wrote a curriculum, and there's charter schools.
Yeah.
Explain that.
I don't gotta wait for you to get at the table.
Okay, I didn't want to, I didn't want to jump on top of you, but I'm glad that they brought that up.
That's his lane.
The most important thing about music in school, though, is that it exercises so many other things in a kid's mind. It teaches you how to count. It teaches you discipline, and it also teaches you organization in your mind. And all those principles are covered in music, regardless of what other kind of music you listen to. You have to, those principles apply.
And it exercises both sides of the brain.
Right.
Too.
That's important to a child's development. And I think when you take that piece out, you minimize a lot of their artistic development, which inevitably cuts down on a lot of other things that they have, critical thinking skills and things like that.
Or opens up the lane for other things like the mass media that they portraying in video games that they pushing on the kids right now. So instead of filling their minds with conscious or things that is going to, like you say, have growth for the mind, now you can put garbage in there, and take up that time that's being used for.
And as it applies to go-go music in this culture, the first thing I always tell people about go-go music is Black history, and I think the most important thing about go-go music and why I'm so excited about it is there are a lot of indigenous musics in this world. There are a lot of indigenous musics and created American music. But we are the only music that really can claim its existence. Who started our music? We can put our finger on who started our music. You can't do that with house music. You can't do that with hip hop. You can't do that with jazz. You can't do that with Zydeco. And I could keep going down a list of indigenous musics in America. And go-go is the only indigenous music that can put their finger on the creator of that music. And that's why it's so big to me. So when we talk about the history of it and bring it into the classroom setting, we can go deep into it from that perspective only of it being a Black history, that how many people can claim their existence. If you had to make up your own kind of music, coin the phrase of it, market it, make it global within your own community, then make it national, then take it international, what would you call it? You dig what I'm saying? That's how big and that's how important this music is to this culture, and that's why we have to keep it alive, and that's why we have to teach the kids, and that's how we get the music not only back into the culture the way it's supposed to be, but now they know the theory behind the music. When I wrote the curriculum for C charter school, we couldn't get into the main school system because we couldn't get a charter for it. They wouldn't take the curriculum from charter schools at the time because they were. Let
me ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
What does it take to get that charter?
Well, now that's great. I've been talking to Dr. Stevenson. I know Malachai had a conversation with Dr. Stevenson, who's the author of Teach the Beat. So Dr. Stevenson has been...
Who will be coming here? Give me a call last night. Who will be coming live on the station? And he's talking about Malcolm X Day getting ready to come out.
Oh, yeah. He's been working intensely on trying to get this back into the D.C. public school system, and we've had several seminars and instructional classes for the actual teachers, where they came and we taught them how you would teach a certain way. How would you teach that beat? And we actually sat with the teachers and we taught them that. And now we're re-energizing that back up.
Isn't that harder to do now with the influx of teachers is coming in from outside of this area?
I think it is, but I think it's a good opportunity right now at this particular time because of the conversation like we're having today. The only way we really get it back in is if we just keep on fighting. Mm-hmm. We got to go to the city council and we got to let them know that, what they're looking at as a detriment is not a detriment to our community. It's actually it's our embellishment. We need to glorify that, and our kids need to have pride in it. And it's not they can't separate the violence and the things that happen at any show or at any club. They want to make it negative, and that's not go-go music. The music don't kill nobody. If you can do your Second Amendment and say that gun wouldn't have killed nobody if they ain't pulled the trigger, my music ain't never killed nobody. I can't control somebody's actions.
But isn't this how this conversation got started between you three gentlemen? The fact that, one, what you may be saying may be 100% true, but it's all about the presentation, where I bring in Mr. Malachai at. That's always been his point, is the reason why go-go doesn't get caught on the way we would like for it to be. It's always been the presentation.
Negative.
No, not just that. I mean, a lot of music has negative connotation in it. It's the actual presentation, how it's being packaged and presented to the public.
Right.
Well, and I think that's particularly relevant in this line of questioning about the kids, is because I think you can put it. I don't disagree with anything anybody said, but I also think that teaching it to kids is not the only answer, because when we were young, like if somebody was trying to teach us about Dixieland jazz, we didn't care because that was our music our parents listened to. So right now it's music that their parents listen to. So until you make a go-go band cool again, and somebody cool, and something that the kids want to know about, it's just going to be, you know,
But
it's
doesn't that
just going to go in one ear and out the other.
But doesn't that go to the point where
I think
you have
both
to
are
have a
necessary.
child band, you know, for them to look at, say they can identify
They
with?
can go see.
Yeah.
Somebody they can go see.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
That they
You know
can
what I'm saying?
support.
I mean, I don't think you need a child band. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But
just
you,
something
if
to
you have
inspire.
someone in the a younger,
Right. What'd you say, X?
Something to inspire them. That's
Yeah,
all.
exactly.
You got to reintroduce
exactly.
a culture, like you're saying. We grew up in the era, or I grew up in the era where bands were a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
it was bands. When I had to be in a band. I mean, before even was GoGo, we had all of these funk bands in the '70s, and I want to be in a band, and you know, I want to rock out. You know what I'm
Funk's your
saying?
mother's finest.
So, but the kids now they on this push button stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and you ain't getting no bands together no more. So we got.
Well, you got to deal with it as it is too.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like every culture, every genre of music is always evolves.
Yeah, we got to
It
reintroduce
always
it, like you
evolves.
said,
So,
repackage.
so we got to reinvent how we approach the youth as well.
But like I said, they don't have. When I was 13, my first go-go was the triples. They don't have all ages go-go's anymore.
No.
So you have to be a certain age to be able to enjoy the music. They don't have those anymore.
Yeah,
so
'cause
the
we
kids,
could-
the
yeah,
kids can't.
yeah.
The kids can't go see a band.
Well, this
unless they're 18
is
or
where I
21.
agree with Malachai at, because he's made a point about this in the past, and I just don't know if it falls on deaf ears or whatever the case may be, but you don't necessarily have to have that outlet all the time for music to be successful. You know, it's other outlets that music becomes very successful, and they have their way of find. You know, the youth know how to find it, one way or the other. Go ahead, Malachai. That was a note.
Yeah, I mean,
that you used to talk about.
yeah, I mean, my argument usually has been not necessarily about the all age go-go's, but about the radio thing. I think this was me and Chris had the misunderstanding. It wasn't a disagreement because I think you just misunderstood what I was saying. But my point is that a lot of people that I see say that go-go isn't bigger because we haven't gotten radio play. And my rebuttal to that is there are a lot, and the reason I know this is because I'm a booking agent. Like, I book bands all day long, and I look at who's playing in all of the venues across the country, like every single day. There's a lot of artists and bands that have never been played on the radio that have very successful careers, and honestly, my standpoint on go-go's next steps is different than it was 10 years ago when I put Mama Sauce together, because 10 years ago the money was in publishing, but now with the advent of streaming, the money and it's not everything I say isn't totally motivated by money, you know what I mean, but you have to have some income to keep things alive. So, you know, but it's not like I'm just saying, oh, you should only do what it, you know, goes to the money, you know, makes you the most money every time, because to be honest with you, I think that's part of what's held GoGo back, is everybody's so busy chasing $150 that they don't put the work in that it takes to make $1 million. You know what I mean? And it's possible. And there are bands out there like Lettuce, like Soja, like some of these other bands that obviously have the, you know, the advantage of a lighter skin complexion, which is not an insignificant factor that I will definitely admit to, but it's also not an insurmountable obstacle. But these bands have very successful careers, and they've never been played on the radio. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're big funk bands, essentially. Soja's a reggae band, but Lettuce is a funk band.
And we're going to come back to that point, because that's, I think, kind of initiated the whole thing with Lettuce being able to be the Washington Nationals official song, which I think a lot of people, and I pointed out with Miss Lady on the show the day it broke, X, you dropped it on social media, is that and I saw it and I played it for Miss Lady, and
no, you played it, but I'm fully aware of it.
I was just about to say that. You
get him right now. Get him right.
I was just about to say that.
2010.
Boy, that head started shaking.
I'm telling you,
watch
you know
out.
what? Excuse me, Miss.
And I was like, oh, you got him.
I should have led with that. Miss Lady was fully aware of it prior to me playing this song. But we're going to go back to that, but back to the root of the situation. What Miss Lady was saying, that, you know, somebody need to grab the youth and them be able to gravitate towards it. Malachai, your point being to where GoGo doesn't need to be on the radio in order for it to be successful, but at the same time, what's still missing is how can the youth be able to gravitate towards the music if it's not being on radio. So this lady
The
saying
youth
they have
don't
no,
even listen to the radio.
that's my point.
The youth.
That's what I'm looking for you to say,
He
sir.
doesn't listen to the radio
Thank
at
you.
all. Like he listens.
That's
He
the-
looks on YouTube. He look on SoundCloud. They look
Exactly.
on Spotify. You know what I mean? They're not listening
See,
to the
that's
radio.
that's the new school perspective that the old school would do like me.
And I used to think
I'm
it
like-
was just a black thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was just black kids did not pay attention to the net like that.
No.
But no.
Well, my stepson is black, but no, it's
Yeah.
white kids
Right.
too. Yeah.
Right.
No, it's
Yeah.
not just.
No,
black
I'm just
kids.
saying back, before the internet really like now is the foreface of all business.
Yeah.
But like about what really changed for me, I'm gonna tell you. Polo brought his first single up to me when I was working up at Kiss. Drop the Chalupa. That was his very first single. All right, this is before the next single which actually took the band into the next stratosphere. But when he brought that to me, I sat back and I was like, this is where GoGo going right now? You know what I mean? But it was until I heard the next single, Make It Clap, that held the phone lines for weeks. We used to battle Make It Clap versus Shake It Out. Right. And 1 week Shake It Out would win, 1 week Make It Clap would win. But I was like, this is where GoGo is going. Right. So, but that was just my mentality at the time. That was just my mentality because the name of the school was initially was the Old School GoGo show. Right. But it was the only outlet Kiss had for, GoGo. So, we used to, and when we brought John in, John brought in the bounce beat. And so I was like, man, I don't know about this.
Can I say something about that, though?
Yeah, we're going to go there.
Okay.
We're going to lead you right into that.
Okay.
So, with that being said, as adults right now, like you said, those who's actually putting together the music or driving the youth to potentially play and carry this culture ahead, we have to be in tune with what's happening right now. We can't always be stuck like, man, these youngins are so disrespectful. They don't understand this. They remember when we was doing this back then. They don't care because when you was a kid, you just said it earlier. You didn't care.
We didn't care about what our parents were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then their parents used to think, y'all playing that wild jungle music or whatever, it was wild to them, where they was wild to their parents and so on and so forth. So everything evolves on that level, but it still needs to be presented in a way to where we know it's going to be successful, or at least in successful hands.
Well, that's where a scheme has to come up. Because if you take a ball of paper and ball it up and you try to sell it to somebody, it's worthless. But if you can convince somebody that the picture of the Pope face is in this ball of paper, whoever believes that Pope is in that ball of paper will pay whatever its value is to them. It's presentation. Like, I can't, one guy at the sports arena told me, like, what are you doing with that John Wall bobblehead? I'm like, shoot, man, I could get $100 for this bobblehead. He said, only here. That bobblehead is worthless in Detroit. It's worthless in L.A. It's worthless. So it's how you present something.
That's a perfect analogy for GoGo, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I see it from both, and I got love on both. I got the classic old school side, and I got the new. I got love for both sides, and I know it works because it's working for me. In my mind, it is, but I just gotta tie it into everybody else. That's why I love when he comes in, and that's why I love when Chris just keeps that foundation. But don't forget about us.
Right.
Don't forget about where it came from. No. Let's get this door open first.
Right.
Once they come in, we can be whoever we want.
Miss Lady.
Yeah, but I wanted to touch what Malachai was saying as far as the rewind a little bit with Lettuce. He was saying, because of the light complected skin, but the actual song that the Nationals is using was written and produced by Nigel Hall, who is he's from here.
And he's from here. Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If you listen to the words, it tell you exactly, he's from here, he plays the keys, I think he's the MD, he produced it,
Yeah, I was just talking about from a larger perspective
what
than being able
like.
to be more successful.
What
I don't even mean in the context of the Nationals thing. I just mean there's no question it's easier for a 12-piece white band to make it on a touring level than it is a 12-piece.
And when we were having that
white
conversation on the internet, I think my perspective was more so, not that I have a problem with the song. I think the song sounds all right.
Yep.
But I think when you do something like that for a culture, when you got like funk and the younger guys is out there, guys in New Impression, we could have reached out to them and said, well, let's commission this song.
Well,
it was written by a DC GoGo Southeast
Who's
born.
in a better position than anybody of us is
exactly.
right now.
It was written
because
by
it's his song.
It's his song.
It's his song.
That's what we need. We need more people to go into these venues, into these areas, get in, get the confidence in, and then say, hey, guys, let me do my thing.
Right.
Go ahead and do it. And then they do it, and it always works out there.
But this is something I presented. I think a lot of people lose sight of for whatever reason, and Malachai, he's well, both of you gentlemen are hard on this that I've seen on the net. I don't see you on this level, or not even level, but talking about this is the marketing side of it. Is who is coming to see your product?
Right.
All right. I guarantee you 90% of them are white suburban people. So it's easier for you to sell a product with somebody you can identify with.
That's Trouble Phone.
Well, no, that's a white band playing go-go music because they think go-go is hip, and it's just no different if.
Oh, you talking about
no different? It's no different from when Tiger was playing golf. You wasn't watching golf necessarily before Tiger got there because you saw him. You identified. It's a black dude playing golf.
Gabby Douglas, all of them, everybody.
So you say, oh, okay, that's hip. So when you got majority of your clientele coming through the gate, paying that money, paying concessions, paying parking, they're white. You put a white band playing, even though it's a black headline, a front man. That's a white band that they identify with.
Baseball is
a white sport, and the sport itself is majority white. So it's an easy sell for them in the marketing mindset.
Yeah,
where we might have a problem with it, but how many of us going to see the baseball game?
Right, but that's the history of music where you got a black culture that's percolating in the bottom, and then you get the Beach Boys and Elvis grab it, and then it goes somewhere.
Right.
But then it always comes back eventually. It always comes back eventually. They always say, well, it as long as whatever it comes from still there, R&B is still there, it still will be noticed because then someone with an ear will say, I know where he got that from. I know where that style comes from. Nobody forgets about James Brown. Nobody forgets about Little Richard. You know what I'm saying?
To that point, I think that the problem like an old head like me had with people assimilating the bounce beat as go-go. Not that we don't recognize bounce beat as go-go, but that is not the root theme of go-go. It's an element in go-go, the beat itself.
Right, it is.
Right?
It is.
So if I'm growing up and I'm learning go-go music and I don't learn the root of the music, I really don't know go-go. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's where old head like me get caught up because I dig it. I know you got to assimilate to it. That's why I put out a beat pack. I know you got to push them buttons now. Ain't nobody putting no 15-piece band together going on the road when they can make a song on an MPC, right? So I get it, but we still got to take it back so these kids can know about that pocket because the go-go's root element and the theme of go-go is the pocket. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool to come off that branch like you got different derivatives of rock, classic rock, acid jazz, whatever, acid rock, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you still got that element of what the rock is. You dig what I'm saying? And that's where
so
we're
you mean
losing
like,
it.
You
we're
mean
losing
like
it's the same thing in hip hop though. You got a little scrappy verse, Joe Budden, like they're talking. You know, I mean, these mumble rappers don't get the lyrics.
But the root element of rap is what? They're still rapping.
Yes.
You dig what I'm saying? They're still spitting.
If that's what
and
you
as
want
long
to call
as they're spitting, and see, in go-go we're missing.
Mumbling now.
It's some of the greatest.
Because that's the point. That's the exact point right there to where what you got to understand is the money dictates what's being played right now, and so what's selling is what we claim is not that Eric B. Rakim I woke up this morning to Chuck D and Public Enemy. You know what I mean? Because that's what I identify with. But a youngin might identify with what you say, Lil Scrappy and whoever these other little youngins is listening to right now.
Are letting you listen to
right.
Check this out.
But that's the same as how you feeling about how the original school go-go is looking at the bounce beat. But be honest with you, I'm not tripping off the bounce beat. I'm tripping off what's coming behind the bounce beat.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's my concern.
The spotlight on
Darrin said something that was very important, though. The one thing about this music that's very important, that's different than a lot of other music, you always come back to the root, right? So go-go take you through phases. Like the kids that was listening to bounce beat 10 years ago ain't listening to bounce beat. They listen to Grown and Sexy now. You know what I'm saying? So it is an evolution in this music to come back to. So there is something to come back to. However, like you said, the thing is, the revolution is coming now with the new way we present the music, how we package it, how we put it out, how the kids, what they're listening for. What's the kids meter? Because that bounce beat meter, I definitely ain't had that meter in my head. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what do kids do?
What are they listening for?
When we was young, what did we gravitate to? We gravitate to what the girls was liking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When we saw what the girls was loving and what was making money.
That's what TCB. Right. That's what the ass
exactly.
That's what it was all about. It was getting those same neighborhood girls to come out every week in that little spot they was
and you paying $100 to get in the cut line,
and then
another couple hundred in the club.
They were telling their cousins, and the cousins were telling the friends, and then they would say, "Oh, it's popping over there," so they would come to that.
Right.
Because it was nowhere else for them to go.
Right.
So backyard was you weren't old enough to see backyard yet, but you could go right on 4th and Dub in the back of the barbershop and do the same exact thing.
Man,
so
the Bounce Me Move was amazing movement, man. I mean, the amount of money that was generated, you know, you got people like Polo's driving a Rolls Royce, something like that, you know what I'm saying? What the hell? You know what I mean? That was an amazing movement, man. It's still amazing. They got a lane.
I learned that from you guys, though, but that stuff I brought to them, I learned from you guys. Like the marketing, the jackets, the bands, the steps, the show, the lights.
Yeah, because everybody wanted to play with Razzies when I was a kid. It was the whole allure, like you said, that whole allure of being in that band.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what we gravitate to.
You got to make it cool again. But can I interject for just a second, because I think we're sort of like talking about how to make GoGo cool in DC again,
romanticizing.
And is the idea to make it cool in DC again, or is the idea to get it outside of DC?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it has to be both in order for it to
start first.
That's right. If the base isn't strong, then how is it going to go outside?
Well, because I have a sort of a controversial point of view on this.
Don't you always?
Shocker.
Yes.
My argument is that if I was to put a band together today, I will put together a band that sounds like Trouble Funk in 1986.
Right.
With 20-year-old kids, because I'm telling you, the people that are listening to Lettuce and Turquoise and Orgone and all of these funk bands that are doing huge festivals and playing hard ticket shows and selling 1,200 tickets in cities across the country, not just in their home market, are 20 to 25 to 35-year-old people that look like me.
Yo, man, Dave Grohl tell you all.
I'll tell you what, we go.
Yeah, and I seen Dave Grohl fanboying out for them in California. So like he was 10 feet away from me, like he was with the 15 years old.
Out there.
So knew where it came from.
So when we come back from break, what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay out each person's point of view of what the very next step needs to be in order for. I'm talking about the next step, not 10 steps down the road. The very next step in order for us to say, you know what, we can make it if we do this. Okay. You can tune into the GoWin Radio Show right here on GoGo Radio Live, Win DC Radio, all wrapped up in GoWin.media. Coming to you live from the shops at Iverson. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to keep it 1,000.
Welcome to DC. You know where you're at, the USA Cup. You're taking it slightly, so taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act? Oh, you gon' be right back. Well, we gon' be right here. We gon' be right here. You know where you're at, the USA Cup. You're taking it slightly, so taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act? Oh, you gon' be right back. Well, we gon' be right here. We gon' be right here. Welcome to DC. DC, the home of Chuck Brown. Oh, you don't know the sound? Well, let me break it down. The G-O, the M-A, and B-O. See, though, we've been pumping crank since an embryo. Really, though, it's the city where the people hold the power. And you can see 9 dimes every half an hour. Well, Luncheon and Joe is the lingo. And brothers rob, so ain't nobody rocking mink coats. Take you back to the madness had, so how the city renamed Cigarette Shack, so how even the mayor had a running with crack, but we all kept it real and we voted them back. But we got no stars that spit on bars like BET wasn't birthed in our backyard, so our NEG, our essence in our backyard. to DC. I'm from the city to district. I own up to it, but right now I got a real big bone to pick. When this industry don't let us get some ownership, we gotta take it, huh? Well, we own it then. This ain't a hit and run, no, we're not an accident. More like a hit and hold, sorta like we tackling. And we crank so hard cause we be practicing. And this is just the beginning, Slim. We just scrimmaging, so lace up your Nike boots and pass with the Timberlands. When them brothers off the boat like they Gilligan. With a condition that we living in, got us fighting over land and ain't ours like cowboys and Indians. So football, yup, cowboys and Indians. And politics, yup, cowboys and idiots. But much love the VA and MD. That's why the new DC is the DMV. You know where you're at, the USA Cap. You're taking it slightly, I'm taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act? Oh, you gon' be right back. Well, we gon' be right here. We gon' be right here. You know where you're at, the USA Cap. You're taking it slightly, I'm taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act? Oh, you gon' be right back. Well, we gon' be right here. We gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC. Truth is, this here's proof there's room to take it up a few years. Give us a few years. Let us test some ears. We'll be a brand new best it is. Scoring 100 on your question is. Cause if the question is we the truth, then check the air. Cause if you check the know, somebody better check the air. Or check the water cause it's some minute. We can't afford to be bush, it's only one in the district.
We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We gon' be right there. We ain't going nowhere. We gon' be right there. We ain't going nowhere.
Welcome to DC.
There it is.
That was my idea. That's hot. That's hot.
Tuned in to the GoWin radio show right here on GoGo Radio Live, DC Radio, all wrapped up in GoWin.media, coming to you live from the shops at Iverson. And that right there, other than, let me see, what that was that before CCB?
They were around the same
Yeah.
time. I think the Fatty and Classic came out around Miracles time,
Right.
Or like
well,
shortly
both of
before
those,
that, maybe.
they came out the same year. One was the first quarter, and one was the last quarter.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact timeline, but it was all around.
I'm just talking about CCB.
Yeah.
They came out the first quarter. I remember that clearly.
Yeah, I don't remember when.
Yeah, and then they came right back. I was like, wow, they heavy.
Yeah.
You know,
no, they
because
were
go-go
killing it.
bands don't do that.
Right.
You know, I
They were
mean,
killing it. Now,
full
Mark knew what
length
he was
albums in the same year,
Yeah,
too.
Mark
Legit
knew-
ones.
Mark knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Well, my thing in GoGo is you can have a street ball team and you can have a professional NBA team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying? You still
right.
do the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
exactly.
CBs going around knocking down national doors. When people
Right.
come to DC to really want to get, like in New Orleans, you really want to hear some real New Orleans jazz. You got to go to New Orleans.
Right.
You can't go to New
Right.
York. You know,
Yeah.
people transplant themselves, but that's where it has to go, man. I mean,
How about we the
you can have it
originators
both
of the
ways.
mixtape?
Well,
Exactly.
so I want to pose the question, like we said right before we went into break. What is the very next step for us to move forward for the growth of the music? Ms. Lady, you like to start first?
No.
Okay. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna start strong right then. Chris, what are your thoughts? And I'm talking about immediate step right now. The very first thing that we need to do in order for us to take ourselves seriously as one, because all the inner bickering, you're gonna have bickering. What's crazy with us is we have bickering and ain't nobody winning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I don't understand, but it is what it is, so we deal with it as we do with it. But
What's the first step?
the very first step.
Excuse me. First step is the business. Learn the business. Learn more about the business.
So it's got to be a particular part of the business that the first thing you would say, well, look, youngin, you trying to do something. This part of the business you need to learn right now.
You're an independent musician. I'm going to tell you to register yourself as a writer or publisher with one of the agencies, ASCAP, BM, I don't care who. get on one, write some records, write a song, get registered, get your all of your pertinent information.
But that's good. You're talking about. I want you to talk about what your core, what you believe. Like you know what GoGo is.
Right.
What do they need to get back to right now? And from the music side.
On the music side, just
that's where you're
be
from.
true to the music, be innovative. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk about myself a lot, but I'm making records now that are fused with GoGo lyrics, GoGo sounds, but pop beats. And
when you say GoGo lyrics, what do you mean?
You know, GoGo has a culture that people just sleep on. You know what I'm saying, Joe? You know what I'm saying, champ? You know, we had a whole culture that we slept on, and hip hop took advantage of the culture, and they didn't promote the music. They didn't remember they changed it from rap to hip hop culture. Right. And we didn't promote our culture, and we really had a culture. We were the first culture to have what do you call that? Urban wear in a video from the butt. You know, Madness was the first urban wear in a major video. You know, we dropped socks with your Timberlands. You know, we had a lot of culture that we didn't push. So one is the culture.
Right.
You know, getting to the culture and being true to the culture, man. And that's what we need to start approaching it as. Because you know what? When you say culture, it takes away a whole negative. You say culture, like, oh, it's welcoming. Right. Culture is invigorating. So we got to get back to the culture first and then teach the root. And when you teach the root, they can gravitate and really turn it into something a lot.
Well, when you say teach the root, that can be, I'm not going to say it can be taken in different ways, but it can be practiced in different ways that's not necessarily consistent.
What's like a drummer? A drummer can't start playing drums if he can't do no rudiments.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No, what I'm talking about as far as you got different people, because it's not just from one person. It's not like at this time and point we all believe that, like you said earlier, we can put our finger on. Some people believe, because and I talked to you about it on off the air time. Some people believe that the Godfather is the originator of this music. So you can put your finger on that. As far as us putting out the message, as far as saying with the youth nowadays, because I think, was it you, Darrin, that said some kind of way we got to be able to talk to today's youth. Because they don't necessarily listen like how we listened when we was coming up.
You gotta go with it.
Yeah. So exactly. So
I think Malachai said it best. We gotta get some youngins playing the music. I mean, you gotta
they're out there.
You gotta go back and get a 13.
Well, they're not being. There's no Charlie Fenwicks grabbing those youngins.
No, and that's the point. That's why I wanted him to speak on it, because he's the one who came up the way I saw.
I do have a couple of artists I'm working with right now. We're doing just that. I'm not going to expose it yet.
That's what I'm saying. The original music, the way it was, you know what I'm saying? Like not copying all of it, doing your own thing. Same thing everybody else is doing in other genres. We don't do. We take that and then we'll play it and then make it ours, but it ain't really ours.
But you know what though? I wanted to speak to and it's in the context of what we're talking about. One thing I remember about go-go bands in DC is the average go-go band is a little older, right? Mm-hmm. So their interest on getting on the road is really ain't there. You know, it really, most bands play to supplement their income. So let's get that straight first with these bands we have here. Now to reintroduce the sound and bring out new bands is what I think Malachai is getting to as far as how they approach it to get out. So it keeps it alive here, but also at the same time we're addressing,
keep the street ball and you got
we're addressing two different equations within music.
Same game.
Yeah, I've never been a proponent of saying that GoGo should get outside of here and lose what's here. Like that's not ever been my objective.
No.
Ever.
You got to have a base. You got to have a base. So, X, what is your approach, your first step approach in order to galvanizing this, it was so funny.
Old head, sit down. I'm sorry.
That's that T word.
Wouldn't be me without no old heads. Don't
That's right.
Wouldn't be me without no old heads. That's number one.
Yeah.
I think for me, without stepping on, because we all thinking the same thing. But that's why I want Chris to speak on his lane. Malachai's gonna speak on his lane. I'm also gonna speak on what I think should happen, because of what I see and that's happening. Because I'm in the rooms with these people as they're making choices.
Right.
We have to control our own narrative. Right? Because what happens is, if I touch down from London, I don't know nothing about GoGo, but I'm hearing somebody say, "You in DC?" you need to check out GoGo. Well, I'm in a hotel room right now. I need to know which direction I'm gonna go. First thing I'm gonna check is the internet. I even try YouTube or something, and the first thing that pops up is a bunch of random nonsense, right? That me myself, if I wasn't in the GoGo, I wouldn't even could make sense of it myself.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Right.
So I'm clicking on links. I see cell phone videos, and well, I don't want to go there. That place don't look cool to me. I see videos done professionally, but those videos 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. So I know those people ain't even playing no more. I'm still trying to find the narrative that says that when you touch down in DC, this and this happens in GoGo. This we need to control our own narrative. Right? So once we control our own narrative, then we can dictate how we present ourselves to people and what we want them to see and what we don't want them to see. Right? Because that's what I see. Because like we said, when the Capital City GoGo, when they was trying to name the team, that they were all over the map with GoGo. I'm like, no, the Joe Searchers don't even play no more. Like, no, he doesn't play with that band. He's actually with that band. And it was just so much nonsense.
Good luck keeping track of that.
Right. So they had no sense of, well, so what is GoGo? What does it do now today? I know that's why I keep saying, what do we do moving forward? But what are we doing now? What are we doing right now? Because what's happening right now is that only reason they know about Backyards because I said that guy played on The Wire. Oh, that's the guy from the... Get him. Get that band. Right? EU. Oh, the Butt. We know them. Right? That's the narrative that Ging has done for himself. That Junkyard has done. They control their own narrative. Right?
Well, let me ask you something. Because the point you're making... and I would like Malachai to chime in on this a little bit, is that to me, the powers that be looked at the situation and saying, wow, that's all over the place. There's no real center, focus point, or there's no hub to that music.
To them, it was Chuck Brown. That's what the narrative is.
Well,
now.
But once they found out that there was a hole in that, did it make
they
it?
They don't believe it's a hole because you know why? They still playing Bust and Loose. They playing nothing but commercial songs. They're not playing. The DJ told me I can't play PA tapes, and I love Northeast Groovers, but I can't pop a Northeast Groovers tape in this stadium. They'll throw me out of here. I can't find nothing commercially released by Northeast Groovers that I can play.
We got to make records
outside of the water dance.
Yeah, they got quite a few.
No. This is what I'm saying. These people, if they don't see it, it don't exist to them.
So you saying the visual aspect of the music?
They only go two places, iTunes and YouTube. They don't go to Go already because they don't know it exists.
Right.
They don't know that In the Basement exists. They don't know that stuff exists because it's not marketed in a place where iTunes,
corporate America can understand.
iTunes has a back pipeline to GoGo Radio where every time you upload something, iTunes updates their thing. There's no such a thing. There's nothing that exists. You have to go find it.
Hit one right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm on it.
You feel me? There is
but
a
it's
pipeline.
not his job though. That's the job of the bands. You know.
Well,
if
you want to tie it into something but the thing is, right? And the bands have to be proactive too.
Spotify playlist.
But the thing about it,
exactly.
I want
there's no narrative.
You know, interject with that. When they came and you said they were all over the place with the naming now. There used to be something called like the GoGo Coalition. Right. I mean, there should be something that someone comes here and they have to like. To me personally, okay, you have the name Capital City GoGos, but there should have been like an approval request. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's my point.
That's my point.
That's my whole point. There was a hole. There's a hole in the culture to where they saw that they said, "Well, you know what? There is no. There's nobody."
No. They didn't want it. They didn't even think the name was even worthy of the team until we sat down and said, "Let me talk to you about this."
That's what I'm saying.
You don't think it was worth? Okay.
So it was me that did it.
That's
was
what
me
I'm
that
saying.
did it on that end. It was me that did it.
Thumbs up.
My thing is, I fell into that. It wasn't like I went and said, "I'm going to be the GoGo Coalition." It was never that. Right. I just felt it. I was at the table.
At the right point, right place at the right time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying earlier.
Oh, y'all on this? Oh, now I can say something. All that other stuff y'all was talking, I ain't know nothing about it. But right here, right now.
And that's what I'm saying as far as what needs to happen, and this needs to be like.
You
shouldn't. I can't go to New Orleans and be like, yeah, man, my new name gonna be Zydeco Slim. They're gonna be like, who are you? What are you? You know, who are you? What have you done? You know, things like that. So it's like you come here and you say the Capital City GoGos. It's like, what tunnels and what avenues and byways did you know
well
what
the
I'm saying?
Team is trying to improve on that now because my thing is when the thing was what now so can we make music for them now? I said listen, they just built the house you own a furniture store.
Right.
Right? Sell them some furniture. That's all they
Yeah,
want. Just give it to them if you want.
Good quality music.
Do it. And that's all they want. They not like the guy, the DJ knows. I'm not playing this because I know what these people want.
Right.
I love Novi's Grooves, but I can't play a PA tape in here.
I got a song
Give
for him
me
right
some
now.
of the commercial Novi's Grooves play, and I'll slide it in. They play some stuff, but then they play pieces with no lyrics. You feel me?
Right.
They play the top of get that do while the team running off the field and the other team running on the field. Nats, so 2 on base, score 3-2, 3 pitches in the ninth, and all that's playing in the background. Yeah. But the white, they dancing. They don't know what it is, but they hear it. Oh, what's that? And they Shazam it.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what most people do. That's what I do. Right?
Yeah.
If you don't have your song
Sound
out there
house,
to Shazam,
yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You need to get yourself in more avenues, control your narrative. I think Malachai can speak on more on the getting
So that go back to us educating ourselves about those different avenues.
And this is what I did with
and-
TCB.
yeah.
Is that all I did was I took what they already was doing and I said, let me just get out of y'all way, but let me steer y'all a little bit because right now you off-roading. I need to put you back on the highway.
Remember, we had a conversation earlier before we got on the air, and we were talking about why I would feel that way, why she feels that way. And I think for us, the internalization of it is the pride factor of you're using my culture, but you're not including me.
Well, here's the thing.
And that's what I think the detachment, and when you get the pushback, that's where the pushback comes from. Because
it came the same way they named the Utah Jazz. The same way. It's a genre. It's not something you own. It's a genre you created that anybody in the world hears. Again, music is universal, right? So if I hear go-go music here and I take it to Africa and they play go-go music in Africa, I can't say, get that back. Y'all don't need that. That's mine. No, take it. Let it spread because everybody knows where jazz comes from. Everybody knows where R&B started from.
I think though, just to push back some more, just is that not that somebody else is doing it, but you came in my house. And you came in my house, and you know what I'm saying?
But your house wasn't in order, so that would make it possible.
That's not necessarily true. It's not that the house wasn't in order. I don't think. Something you said it was important is that they didn't know where to look in the house to get what they wanted.
No.
The big boy is gone. Obviously, you will always gravitate towards Chuck. He's gone.
Right.
You will always gravitate
but Miss Lady,
that's our fault.
He's gone.
But Miss Lady,
who's next?
listen to the scenario he just put out there. You came into my house. So what happens if somebody steps into your house? What happens? Usually the man of the house steps up and say, "This is my family right here." We don't have a man of the house.
GoGo being that.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it's not GoGo. So here's the thing. Here's my rebuttal to that. They did it for a genre. If they just would have went and did a deal with EU, I can understand y'all saying that.
Right.
But they didn't do it.
No, we're not attacking the situation.
No, not attacking. I'm just trying to clarify their thinking. If it's like we need to be more inclusive to the city that we're trying to represent.
Definitely.
What is here? Crabs, mumbo sauce. What else is here?
Of course.
Something called go-go.
Well, like Chris said, the indigenous music.
Listen, they would have never attached his name to it if they didn't think it was some value to it.
Exactly. Of course.
You feel me?
That's
I
my
had
point.
to convince them that it was value to
Of
it.
course.
Thank you.
Right? So now that I did that,
but let's talk about how business is
let
done.
me finish the point. If you have a spot on the floor and your light is out, right? And it's dark in here, you don't see the spot. The spot is still there.
I need that beam on it.
You put the beam, it's still the same spot.
Right.
That's GoGo.
Right.
GoGo is still here no matter what they do. It just shining a light on. If it's a piece of shit on the, it's just gonna be what it is when the light shines on it. That's all I'm saying. If GoGo is in shambles when they say we want to do something with GoGo, let's go. Get the bands in here right now by tomorrow. Well, today we're in shambles. So all he's gonna do is just amplify our conflicts and our disagreements with each other. Even though he's trying to uplift us, we're not doing it amongst ourselves. He's just uplifting a bunch of garbage. Like he's pushing, GoGo, let's go, GoGo, let's go. And GoGo is just falling out of his hands as he's doing it. Guess what he's gonna do? All right, I'm gonna do something else then.
Right.
I'm gonna do something else. That's our problem.
But
not his. He don't know nothing about GoGo.
You're making my point for me, I believe. I believe.
The point is, but here's
but
the thing.
my point
Who else
is,
gonna do it? Who else is gonna
no,
do it?
my point is that if I am a businessman, I'm gonna use the point that Jahar be doing on his thing. He says, you know what? I'm not mad at the white man for coming in and doing business in black areas. Just like you can't be mad at the China man if they setting up shop doing carry outs and whatnot, liquor stores, you coming in, you giving them money, ain't you? So you can't be mad as long as you continue giving them money. The best way to voice yourself is with your dollar bill. Yeah. So if they see, you know what, it's a hole in this. Nobody's really running business over here. I don't think we're gonna have the headaches. You know, we don't necessarily have the headaches dealing with if we was dealing with another genre that was together underneath a business roof. If it had some type of foundation business-wise, we got a foundation culture-wise, but the business-wise
in GoGo, you don't do business as GoGo. You feel me?
Exactly.
So me,
exactly.
As a band, I can't represent GoGo as a whole. I'm only representing me playing GoGo.
But because, like you said, because it's so fractured, you need some type of base, whether it be a lawyer or somebody on the.
You mean for the genre?
Yeah, you got to have it.
Can I say what my next step in GoGo is? Because I gotta go.
Yeah, but no, I need you to close it out.
There's no spokesman for hip hop. There's no spokesman for rock.
Right. That's
but
what I was gonna
there's no spokesman for none
but
of
not
these.
necessarily
But
true.
not a spokesman, but
because-
there is somebody that you look to.
No, I don't. If I want to make a rock record, I want to clear it through anybody.
no.
I just gonna make a
You're
rock
right.
record.
You're right. You're right.
If I want to do a GoGo record, I have to clear it.
You have to clear it.
Well, go ahead, Malachi, with your point.
It wasn't even related to this, so I still hadn't gotten to what's my next step thing.
Yeah,
You know, it was
please.
45 minutes ago. To me, I think the next step is not an actual step. It's figure out what the hell you want to do. Like, what is the goal? Like, you need to start with the goal first and then make all the steps backwards. You don't need to figure out what's the next step. You need to figure out what's the end step. Are you trying to be Beyonce? Are you trying to be Lettuce? Or are you trying to be Chuck Brown? Like, you need to know that because each one of those there's a totally different strategy for each one. And that's what that's the difficulty that I have trying to explain and why I do these angry videos and stuff all the time is because people look at it like it's just oh, this is how you make it in music. No, there's like 200,000 different ways to make it in music. Yeah. And it's not all the same. And the way that 21 Savage does it is not the same way as, whoever. Lettuce. I keep saying Lettuce because I can't think about it. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying there's like way different strategies for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop is made off straight up records. Like if you don't have a hit record, like it's becoming easier now, but it's difficult. Well, let me not even use hip hop. Let me use pop because like if you do straight up pop, you're gonna have a hard time touring until you have a smash record. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody goes to a 200 capacity venue to hear a wannabe Britney Spears. Like that's just not what you go listen to. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that there's lots of different levels and lots of different ways to get to a certain objective, but you have to figure out what the objective is first. And I don't think anybody's clearly articulated that, and that's going to be something that's specific to each band. That's not necessarily a genre.
No doubt.
Yeah, specifically, but I think
the question was, and you make your point is well taken because something like I make a point all the time on the show. You got to start first by looking in the mirror and identifying what your goal is individually, and then as a band, and then we can morph out to
well, that was the whole purpose behind Mambo Sauce. Mambo Sauce, the idea that I was trying to put behind Mambo Sauce was to be a blueprint to say, hey, look, we could do this and be successful, and then everybody else come along too. Like it wasn't like I just wanted this one band to be successful. Like the whole point was to elevate the entire, music. You know what I'm saying? But, truth be told, and this is why I keep doing these videos and stuff, and understandably pissing people off and doing it on purpose to a certain extent, is that there's a lot of misinformation about how the business works. And I see a lot of people on Facebook talking, and that's why I'm glad you did this with people that have been in it and do understand it. There's a lot of people on Facebook just running their mouth and they have no history and no experience and no knowledge of it. They heard something on TV or read something on the web. They've never done it. You know what I mean? And so you just have all this information out there, and that's what happened with Mambo Sauce is people in the air, well, y'all should be getting this, and you should be getting this, and you should be getting that. And it starts going to the heads of people and because they don't understand how the shit works.
But like you said, that's the blueprint of how the business works, though.
Yeah, but it was
the
somebody
failures
on
and
the
the successes.
was speaking when you were speaking about Mumbo Sauce on the Facebook Live. They just said Mumbo Sauce band chose not to gig in local spots, let alone lack of distribution of that group possibly stemmed from limited local sales.
No, that has absolutely nothing to do with it. That had nothing to do with the demise of Mambo Sauce. Mambo Sauce, I intentionally, not just Mambo Sauce, but it was my rule that we would never play in the same place every week, because what happens is you get complacent. You start getting used to that money, and you start playing cover songs because it's easier, because you don't have to force people to like your music. Because when you're in a band, the worst feeling in the world is to get up there and play and have people just standing there looking at you. So that's the one thing that I impressed upon Mambo Sauce from the very beginning. I said, listen, we're never going to play a cover song, because what's going to happen is you're going to play a cover song, you're going to get that dopamine rush because people are going to know it and they're going to like it and they're going to start partying to it. And then you're going to go to your original song that they haven't heard yet, and they're going to stand there and stare at you. So I said, we're going to push through this. We're going to play and to have people stand there and stare at you until they start to learn the songs, because that's what every other genre of music does. Yeah. So, no, it had nothing to do with that at all. Mambo Sauce was doing fine in D.C., but that wasn't the agenda. The agenda was to get Mambo Sauce outside of D.C.
You know what, Malachai?
And if you notice, that's what I'm trying to... I mean, I'm not solely doing it. I don't manage Black Alley. They have a very capable manager who's a better manager than I was. But as an agent, my objective is to get them outside of D.C. They can do just fine in D.C. They headline the Fillmore. They're doing great. Right. But I just had them in New York this past week and Baltimore. What's that?
They do covers.
They do. Yeah, but if I was a manager, they wouldn't. If I was a manager, they wouldn't.
That was an important point you just made, because originally when GoGo started out, that's what we did.
Mm-hmm. Nothing but covers.
We played original grooves. Right. It was grooves, original grooves that may have had a cover.
You have to appeal to
but
the
it was
people
really,
a little bit.
really twisted, and guys really.
Well, that's what Black Alley does now. They don't really.
But guess what? You still had to go and play until you got an audience.
Yep.
Mass had their audience. EU had their own. You got a following together, and exactly what you said.
Well, and
that same formula still works.
To expand on that point, if you want to get outside of GoGo, you have to build that audience in every city. The biggest problem that I see that happens with GoGo bands is they get to the point where they build up their crowd in DC, and they feel like that's what they're worth everywhere. No, you're not worth the same amount of money in every single market. When you started playing in D.C., you played for nobody, for no money, until you got to a point where people wanted to pay money to come see you. Mm-hmm. You got to do the same thing in Detroit, the same thing in New York, the same thing in Charlotte. And most of the reason why go-go bands are still here, I mean, there's 100,000 of them, but most of the reason why go-go bands are still here is because they won't go anywhere else, because they want that same amount of money that they get here. And you're not going to get it, because if I'm a promoter in Chicago, okay, I might like your band, but I'm not going to pay you $5,000 to come out here and you've never sold a ticket in Chicago before. Have you lost your mind? I'm not going to lose my ass just because I like your music. That's not how it works. And that point seems to just go over the head of most go-go bands. I mean, even the ones at the top, like, they just feel like this is my worth. This is how much money I'm worth, and I'm not going anywhere unless you pay me this money.
And that's great. Do that? Do they change their contracts and things?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. You're not worth the same amount in every market, and if you find you're not worth in a certain market, you just don't play there. You know what I'm saying?
They just try to break your record faster than you can travel, because they're trying to lay the groundwork to get that money when you get there. Right. But if you don't have something precluding you to get there, you're just a stranger knocking on my door.
Right. Yeah.
So that's basically what happens. So that's what I'm saying. You got to control your narrative.
You got to build the demand in another market.
Put that ego set aside.
Yeah. Well, I would tell you that is I would say
that's a whole nother
the biggest problem in go-go is the ego, and it leads to the I should be getting this much, I should be doing this, I've done this, I have this history, I've done this.
You hear that a lot.
Yeah. And no disrespect, but nobody cares what you did 30 years ago if you're trying to play in California or wherever, you know what I'm saying? Or, Texas or wherever. Like, that doesn't matter. And understand the difference between a hard ticket show and a soft ticket show. A soft ticket show is you're being on a festival, a folk festival, a big festival, something where you're not the headliner. A hard ticket show is where 100 people are paying $10 to come see your band. Right. That's what determines your worth, not the festival, not the birthday party, not the whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
it's a holiday. We should get double.
Right. Yeah. Like that's not. Yeah. I mean, in some cases that's the case, but
Right,
but
right.
but yeah. But I mean, and that's my point. I mean, and that goes to Chris's point of learning how the business works. Not only, and I mean, I think it's even, and it's definitely important to learn how the recorded side works now. But to be honest with you, if you really want to be economically viable in the music business right now, you need to learn how the live side works because that's where the money is.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing that irritates me the most is that puts GoGo in the best position it's ever been in.
Yes.
Right.
GoGo is the most dynamic live music there is, except for maybe heavy metal. But heavy metal has songs and fans in multiple cities across the world. But you know what them heavy metal bands do? They get their 4 or 5 stinking asses in a van. They eat ramen noodles for about 3-4 years, and they keep going back to the same cities over and over and over again, and they make no money. And they, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? So the biggest issue with most of the bands now is I don't know any top GoGo band where at least half of the band doesn't have a day job.
Yeah.
You can't
survive like that.
You can't go on tour if you got to go to work tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason.
Another point you brought up is like having to be able to be. I'm lucky to have experienced like being in trouble because when we played in California, we had a whole section of people out there from Montana. Blew my mind.
Yep.
The people with signs.
Yeah, I talked to
We
them
love
afterwards,
Trouble
yeah.
Funk. I mean, in the air, and you know, of course, too, having a support of somebody like Dave Grohl, who kind of, you know, he lets us piggyback at different times. But we have a catalog, and those people sing our songs back to us. In England, they were singing our songs.
And Dave had something to
back
talk about
us.
because you guys were tight.
You know,
Dave was just saying, look at Trouble Funk, and y'all was garbage. They was like, what are you talking about, Dave? But y'all was all. They just shine a spotlight on y'all. Y'all doing exactly what y'all do, and the world is accepting that.
Yep.
And that's the key to what I'm saying is be true, like you say, true to the music, and control your nerves. Stop putting up these cell phone videos. Stop putting up these raggedy PA tapes and not being mixed, because people listen to that.
I'm sorry.
People listen to that, and that's what I'm saying. You got to do better by yourself. That's why I like 7, man. 7 is really trying to get it. Like, they really trying to put it back together. So, just control your
I need to
nerves.
check them out. D-Block hit me up a couple of times.
All right. Well, look, I am so happy that we're able to have this constructive conversation. This is obviously just a chip off where it needs to be built.
Hold on, I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Because you ain't come across here. You didn't. You went that way.
I asked you off to get.
No, I said I didn't want to go first.
First, yeah, she did.
You right.
She did. Go ahead, Queen.
So I just wanted to say when you say be true to the music, I might don't have a solution. What's next? But I do have a problem with people using GoGo, but not being true to it. As far as playing the music, but labeling it something else. Jazz, function, soul, rock, grunge, neo, or whatever it is. But when I hear it, I'm like, oh, it's go-go. That's go-go music. So my thing is, like, if we're going to be true to it, then do it.
Are you talking about Black Alley?
No.
Actually, this is a little inside with me.
I talk to them too. Yeah, I talk to them too. I talk to them about them. It doesn't matter to me.
Because I mean, if you listen to their whole show, they don't play percussion the whole way through, so they're not
I definitely
really.
understand that, but I'm just saying, just people in a whole, just saying, okay, yeah, we're this. But I mean, we have people that come here that are bands. They'll say, well, it's a new band. I'm gonna say this, my girl Camise Lee, Inspired Soul. She has a new all-girl band. They play go-go music. But when she put in her bio, she named all genres of music.
But you know there's a reason for that, though, right?
Why?
Because they feel like they're not going to be able to get into the venues.
We know that reason.
We do
well, she's
know
saying
that,
she's got a problem with that.
I got a. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So what do we do about that? What do we do about that?
Yeah,
because like in the bio, it say, "Hey, jazz, funk, soul, R&B."
Can I
I got a problem with how many more jazz, funk, soul, R&B bands do you need?
But Miss Lady, that goes back to the point where Darrin made earlier.
What?
You got to control your own narrative.
Yeah.
So once you
but when you don't own it, when you're not true to it, and you don't own it, like you have a new band coming out.
Is this a national artist or she just local?
She local.
No, Camise Lee. She's Songbird. Songbird. Okay, but
I get. I thought she was doing something.
No. She had, but she did. She did put out a CD, but it was on the gospel.
Right. But I'm saying now. I thought she.
But now she's doing an all girl band. But it's like her. It's just in the bio.
Her bio is not.
Her bio has
GoGo.
nothing. It says nothing about it. And when they heard, you were just.
I wouldn't worry too much about it.
No, I'm just saying not worry about it. But what I'm saying is they say what they're saying is when they shopping it. Oh, we play this, we play this, we play this, we play this. But I'm not going to put it in here.
But watch this. All that this and this has at least about maybe 900 top 20 hits on the charts. Like GoGo probably has about 2.
Let me tell you what the problem is, real quick, y'all. If I could just interject real quick before I forget. What I'm doing right now is trying to get iTunes to add GoGo as a drop down.
It's
not enough volume,
and it's not. You got to get some. And
that's
exactly.
what I've been saying the whole time.
And that's
put out more music.
That's where his point comes into play, because when I did call them up and I spoke to somebody on the phone and they said we'd love to add it, send us some music. Okay. Roger that.
Well,
so
that's
now
the
we
thing
got
too
to flood them
with the lettuce thing. Like I was talking to Kato. Like, okay, I agree. Maybe there's another song they could put, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. What should they have used instead?
And the song's been out for years.
There
like,
isn't it.
You know, it's been out for years.
I played it at my sister's wedding.
Yeah, like,
there you go.
For years, so you know, they had to dig deep to find that. You know,
well, that's our problem. It's all internal.
That's right.
Is internal.
That's
nothing
right.
that nobody's doing to us.
And you addressed it coming out the gate. You don't have a solution to it, but you have a problem with how it's being portrayed at times. Yeah. Yes.
Well, the solution is keep putting out more great GoGo music, and instead of,
notice you just said great.
Yes. Great. Okay. Well, that was very intentional, because my point is most of the stuff that's been put out in the last few years is garbage. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but it's bad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So focus. So you need to learn all the business. Yes, 100,000,000%, but you need to learn how to make music.
You still got to have some quality product.
Music.
Yeah.
Still got to have quality products. So.
Great music, amazing music. It can't just be okay. And I feel like that's been the thing. Like ever since I got into GoGo, the level of care and professionalism and time that's put into making sure the music and the show and everything is great has just gone down the tube.
Do y'all have any idea that? And I just real quick, because we gotta get out of here. We got somebody getting ready to come in. I believe, and you can disagree with me if you like, it has a lot to do with age. I think by the product, when you're younger, you hungrier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and you want to do what's right.
Right.
The music is getting older, so you're not caring as much.
Here's the thing. These older guys,
people doing it for
like all of us, and I work around a bunch of them, and Chris knows some of them too. Most of these older guys or these veterans, they feel entitled.
Yes.
They feel like we are the royalty. Mm-hmm. There's no whether we are the gatekeepers. Right. We don't stamp it ain't stamped, right?
Yep.
Which turns a lot of people away that want to get into this business, right?
Yep.
So let's say, let's use it for example. Me and Malachai, we cool. We played in the band together. We you know, and then we had a falling out. I took some money from him. He stole my car, crashed, never paid. Dang. You get in the car. You getting another. I'm saying this is what happens though. You get in the band together, right? I want the best people. X Malachai. Oh no.
Can't work with that.
Like Malachai. I can't work with Malachai. Yeah. So you can't put the best product together because we're too emotionally attached to each other in this genre, in this city, to separate. We're a family.
But like I've said 100 times, what are we being petty about? Ain't nobody made no money.
But that's the thing. You
ain't nobody made no money.
Psychology to understand how people think. I don't understand that.
As a band, that somebody's made $1 million a year, I'm sure. But individuals, it's never been a millionaire to ever come out of GoGo.
No, it hasn't.
Ever.
Nope.
So what are we beefing about? So exactly. You know what? That's gonna be I mean, that's an ongoing.
What's the problem?
Yeah. That's an ongoing question right there.
The entitlement, the royalties, the
management.
I'm not playing before and after that band. They got to play.
Nobody ever said that though. Too many bands and not enough.
But is it that depressing that you? I mean, we can identify problems all day long. Yeah. But
because we didn't get to the economics of it, this fake economic system they got paying bands $2,500 a show that these managers and these promoters have out here. I'm calling you out. Yes.
Yeah. These bitches stop paying for IPA.
Well, let's get into that real quick. Everybody give your closeout information. Let's start with you, Malachai. let people know how they can get in contact with you, even though you're outside the area right now. But let them know what they can do to holler at you.
Alive Agency is my booking agency. It's Alive with 2 L's. So it's just aliveagency.com.
One word?
Aliveagency.com. Yep.
Okay.
Or just
no, it's Alive, one word.
Yeah. ALLIVE.
Alive.
Alive with 2 L's. Yeah. Or I'm just Malachai Johns on Facebook. Malachai Johns on
Let me give y'all his direct number. No,
no phone calls.
I mean, I'm around, man. You can find me anywhere. I can't get my phone number. I mean, I could, but everybody know my number.
Right. I got that one.
Just inbox you on Facebook, Darrin X.
Inbox me on Facebook. Yeah, I'm open, man. My page open. I'm open. Whatever, man. I got no beefs with nobody. I love everybody.
Chris.
AllenEntertainmentDC.com. Come look me up there. Go get my pack, GoGoology, for all you beat makers out there. GoGoology Volume 1. Also, every Thursday night, come see me down at the Half Note with Belladonna. And anytime you see a Trouble Funk poster, come on out and check out Trouble Funk. That's who I'm with all the time. And Facebook, of course. And
Sure.
Darrin X's direct number is 301.
Well, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming through today and broaching this very important topic because without conversation, then there's no direction. So we have to at least have a productive conversation in order for us to move forward and grow and build what we all love and cherish. All right.
Yes, sir.
So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all tune in this Thursday. Our special guest will be the phenomenal cast of Margaret P. Bean's The Game Changer stage play, which is going to be airing this weekend. So make sure y'all tune in each and every Tuesday and Thursday right here from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., which we go over too often. We're not going to be able to go do that soon.
Right.
We got programming coming in behind us. Yeah, that's how we growing right here on WinDC Radio and GoGo Radio Live. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate all of y'all for tuning in onto the GoGo Radio Live page and as well as the WinDC Radio page. Keep it locked on our social media on the GoWin Radio Show to let you know what we got coming up. All right. Any last shout outs, gentlemen?
Just thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
Shout out to the music. Long live GoGo.
Yep.
Miss Lady?
What?
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah. No shout outs?
Shout out to everybody tuned in each and every Tuesday and Thursday from 11 to 2 to 11 to whenever on the WinDC Radio Show.
Oh, shout out to Silver Logan Sharp. My bad, baby.
Oh, yeah. Silver. Silver's a big supporter of
she
GoGo
hit me
Radio.
the other day,
Sharp,
but
y'all.
I gave her my number. She never called me.
Forgive me, Silver.
Silver
I'm
called
sorry.
Malachai. You said you ain't calling.
Shout out to Silver Logan Sharp and that banger that we rocking on GoGo Radio that you be doing with Rasses. We got two of them, Real Brothers, and I forgot the other one that came out a couple of years ago. So, but keep it locked right here. Tonight we got Let's Be Clear coming on the WinDC Radio side, as well as, of course, Foreplay each and every Tuesday from 8 to 10 p.m. and Let's Be Clear from 6 to 8 p.m. Thank you once again. If you love GoGo, support it. Support those that who are inspirational and positive about the growth of this music. All right. So, Miss Lady.
If you know exactly what I want to do, yeah, then I'ma get that business to you. Cause we just gave you the business.
GoWin Radio Show. Y'all have a great day.
Can I make that my ringtone?
I was getting to do the hump.
This rainy Saturday.
Good seeing you, Wee.
Also, Miss Tracy, special request. Pick out your afro, put on your high heel shoes, put on your fancy clothes.